Welcome to the Modern Human Podcast with your hosts, Wendy and Brenda. This is a special episode that we call Messages from the Universe. We recorded this from a live event we held in February, late February, and it's all about the painting choosing. The painting itself holds energies and frequencies that are designed to help support us as we move through this awakening process. This particular painting is about opening up the heart chakra and moving through our shadow aspects, and all sorts of other information in regards to how they can help support us while we're moving through this. So enjoy. The first half is sharing messages for about 45 minutes, and then the second half we read randomly for people that are in person. We had many people in person and we had some people online. So you can enjoy those readings that we give people. It's always relevant for those that end up listening, so enjoy that. And if you want to join us live or in person for our next one will be March 20th, where we'll again share more information because we've never been here before. So in this way, we get to kind of help each other and support each other grow and expand into creating this heaven on earth. So enjoy. Let us know what you think. All right. Well, welcome to Messages from the Universe. We are your hosts. We're doing this online, so we got to tell people, right? Wendy
and Brenda. Hello.
She always says that too. It's funny. This month, February, it's kind of been intense, right?
Yeah.
It's been kind of an intense month. So, yeah, we love these.
Surprisingly so, because you're like, oh, yeah, it's going to be mild. And then you're like, oh, who knew mild was this? Yeah.
Yeah. Who said it was going to be mild?
I mean, I just feel like there's not a upheaval with retrograde this and retrograde that.
Yeah,
it's
true.
like, oh, so like,
Right.
yeah, okay, we're going to be okay. And then it's like, what is happening?
I think I've cried every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, nice. Exactly. It's exactly. That's February. Exactly, in a nutshell. So we really love that. We love just being able to get together like this and
commune about it, really, and
Yeah,
normalize it because it is really happening. We are in it. And it is a good thing, even though sometimes it feels uncomfortable and complicated.
And it's really interesting because, Brenda and I have been obviously doing this for a very long time, but, the words like New Earth and, fifth dimensional expansion, these fancy words, no one really knows what that is. Okay. Let's just say we're kind of figuring it out as we go along, all of us together, even if you're a big wig and you've been, you have millions of followers, we're all kind of figuring this out together because it truly is about the power of the now. And so you're only going to know what you need to know in the moment, right? I feel like, there we go. Yeah.
Thank you.
All I saw is this beautiful light. So with that being said, there's more information now. So as we kind of continue down this path, there's more and more information out there. So we're going to share with you today some of the newer information that we're receiving. And then, of course, just really open up this moment to allow for higher intensity energy of love to come in so we can all feel better, even if it's for a moment, right?
Even with the tears.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So as we get started, of course, we want to bring our awareness to this very moment, right? We want to open our beautiful beings in such a way that allows us to integrate with this energy and allows us to hear, feel, see, and understand what's about to come through. So I do invite you to get comfortable. Yeah, I know those chairs are comfy.
I brought my butt pillow.
It's so smart.
That's all you can do.
All right, I do invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and it's no worries if you do not. And again, I like to uncross my legs and just start going within, becoming aware of your breath. So slowing down your nervous system, just allowing yourself to become fully present in this moment. One of the ways that I do this is I kind of do this body scan that I've walked you through a couple times now. So just starting with the top of your head, just relax your eyes. And let go of any tension or stress in your jaw and your neck. And moving down your body to your shoulders and your chest. And just, again, letting go of any stress. Feeling your heart space, the middle of your back. And again, just letting go, allowing yourself to melt. Moving down to your arms, your whole arm, your elbows and your wrists and your fingers, and honoring them. And again, letting go of any tension. Coming back to the stomach, the intestines, and relax. Let go. Moving down to your hips and your bottom. Again, letting go of any anger or pressure or worries. Moving down to your hips, your thighs, your knees, your ankles, all the way down your legs. And again, let go. Imagine that your breath is coming through the bottoms of your feet, up through the top of your head. And let's just do a couple of breaths together. Again, from the top of your head all the way through your body to the bottoms of your feet. In whatever way that comes to you. And again, always letting go, allowing yourself to be fully present in this moment. Allowing yourself to think about whatever you're thinking about, just letting those thoughts float like the river. And here I invite you to imagine that there is a light within you. And this light of you begins in that beautiful heart space of you. And whatever color comes to mind, and it's no worries if there's no color, just imagining this light emanating from your heart. And allowing that light to get a little bit brighter. And as we open up and tune in to all that is, I'd like to honor and thank all of our beautiful loving guides, all of our ancestors that have stood before us, and all those that will stand after. I'd like to honor and thank you as always for helping us see what it is that we need to see, hear what it is that we need to hear, do what it is that we need to do, and feel what it is that we need to feel for our highest and greatest good, now and forevermore. I'd like to honor and thank everyone in this room with me right now for being you and being here. I'd like to honor and thank everyone who listens later or who is listening online right now. We are connected. We are together with this intention alone. Coming back to that light that you've opened and allowed to glow. I invite you to feel that light from within, expanding your entire body slowly and surely, and we'll do this together. So from the heart space, this light glows, and it begins to expand to your shoulders and your neck, and down your stomach to your hips, all the way to the top of your head, and all the way through your arms and your legs. And you can feel this light, like this warm glow within every cell of your being. And as you open to this love, this unconditional love that is your birthright, you give permission to heal any discomfort, any physical pain, any emotional imbalance, just allowing it to heal every part of your being. And here I invite you to turn up that light just a little bit more. And in whatever way you see this or feel this is perfect for you. Maybe you see a light switch and you turn it up, turn it on. Maybe you see it as a dial Very nice. And again, allowing yourself, giving permission to heal and expand and transform into all that you are. And for the sake of the messages that are coming through, I invite you to let go of any part of your life that no longer serves you. I invite you to imagine that you're letting it go, that you're giving it back to Source, or you're giving it to the Sun, or you're giving it to God. You're simply letting it go from the frequency of your being. And here I invite you to let go of any thoughts, any feelings that no longer serve you. Simply imagine yourself letting go of anger as you choose forgiveness and peace. And here I invite you to greet your life, what is to come, and unravel. As you allow this light to shine, I invite you to bless all that you will do in every moment of your life. I'm being very vague on purpose. All that you greet, imagine yourself blessing them with love and honor. All the places you drive, your beautiful home, the wonderful state that we live in, the country, continent, the planet. You're allowing yourself to interact and greet and create that serves your highest and greatest good. As you demand and choose in this energy and this frequency only goodness and all goodnesses. Abundance and peace and love and joy and laughter. Playfulness. Success and abundance. And healthy, loving relationships everywhere. There we go. So beautiful. And again, let's take a deep breath in this energy and hold it at the very top as long as you can. And when you need to, slowly exhaling. And let's do that one more time. Again, inhaling as slowly as you can, filling yourself up, holding it, and letting go. I'd like to honor and thank the angels and guides, the entourage, the friends and family that are not on this plane with us. Thank you for helping us heal this day and every day. Thank you for helping us integrate with these new frequencies and energies and letting go of the density of our past. All right, let's keep this beautiful energy going, allowing yourself to come back fully. Wiggle your toes and your fingers and just bring your awareness back to the space. I just want to stay there. I'm not going to lie. So just like sit there like together. You guys are amazing. All that light coming out. Like, yes. Just want to, I know, right? Just imagine the beacon that's like so cool. I love it.
There is a box of Kleenex on the back windowsill if you guys want to pass it around.
Take one down and pass it.
Take one, pass it around.
The unused ones.
Yeah, the unused ones. All right, I'm like
Okay, start. Oh yeah, that's me.
So the painting, which we've been talking about in our podcast. So if you're following our podcast, then you're a little bit aware of what it's called, and it's called choice. And so first, choosing. Sorry. Wow, that
Yeah.
was like a
I mean-
sister bratty. Like you're like, hello.
Choosing.
Sorry.
No,
It's
it is.
choosing?
It is
Sorry.
choosing
I do apologize.
is a choice. Wait,
Active tense.
yeah, active tense.
Which is really important because that's part of the discomfort and the turmoil. And that's the push and pull that many of us are feeling inside of ourselves is like, what energies are we going along with? What conversations are we having inside of ourselves? What feelings are we feeding? And it doesn't mean that there's not things that we have to heal and reconcile. That's really important. And yet there's a big difference between healing something which feels very freeing, uncomfortable sometimes, painful sometimes, freeing though, versus getting stuck, getting into that spiral of, well, and and then so and so, and then you're like, wait, what am I talking about? Am I judging? Oh, I don't know about you, but I start feeling like this. I'm out. I'm out. Okay, let's stop. I'm going to go bless that person and give a prayer and some love, and then I'm going to forgive myself, right? Because what are you doing? So sorry, you go.
No, you go. Okay.
It's not-
I mean, those are all valid points. I mean, that's my voice sounds so much different. Just choosing. I mean, that's really the theme here, right? Choosing. They were showing us, and that's all like fluffy, like, oh, choose what your heart wants, choose what your heart is telling you. Essentially though, when they tell us that, like, it's about choosing right now, because in some ways they want to help us get ahead of the game, because there is so much energy here to help propel us forward. And it's not easy. I mean, Brenda started the podcast at the beginning of the month to talk about how much courage it really takes to do that. If you're doing it right, if you're really connecting with your heart space and your vulnerability, it's scary. I mean, I'm moving through it right with you, right? Like it has not been an easy month in that way. And, but they're saying choose. Will you allow yourself to choose what it is that you want? And that's way easier said than done. Can you really allow yourself to have a beautiful, amazing relationship? Can you allow yourself to have a very supportive job? Do you even know what that feels like or looks like? Right? So it is asking a lot. There's a lot to that, because just by saying and admitting, or even admitting sometimes, you might not even know what you want. Right? And just by being open to that and saying, hey, I don't even know what I want. But what that does, though, is it allows you to start entering into that space with that vulnerability, with that openness of saying, I'm here and I'm listening. And that is powerful. You're listening to yourself. And in that energy, in this choosing or choice, we have literally named it for Brenda.
I'm not
We're
going to
rename
rename it. You are not.
It's the same thing. Choosing is active. Choosing's active. And I think that's important. So I appreciate you bringing that up, because I don't know. I just hear things, they're like choosing. I'm like, okay, but it's because there's an action right now. There is an action. It's not about thinking. It's about choosing. It's about,
No, but we can sit in that and feel that. And I feel like that's what you were kind of feeling into too. We can talk about these things all night and day and never shift. So the shifting comes, we have to integrate with that feeling space of like, what does that mean? Making choices sounds simple. And yet so many choices go on inside of us without our consciously making a choice, because we think we should, right? And that's why we talk so much about this. We talked a lot, I think it was last month, about roles. Those are things that we make choices for that we may not align with, right? What does it mean for you to be a woman or a mother or a wife or a husband? What does that mean? And if it means, for example, some of the gender roles we have, it means being strong or being a provider. giving, right? And yet this conversation of, is that my value? Is that my identity? Is that my worth? We get to say so many of those things that we don't even talk about, let alone consciously choose. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And this painting to me, like, really kind of goes, hold on, because this is happening. You're in this no thing of choosing constantly.
And there's so much more to that too. It's like there's this dimensionality to it. Essentially, I painted over a painting. There's a part of the painting, it wasn't done yet, but it was painted way before COVID. And it had nothing to do with spirituality. It was just like whatever, but it represents this energy of its time, like old earth energy, right? And this new earth opportunity. And I feel like we don't really, and we're going to kind of dissect some of that right now, where it's like, we don't really kind of talk enough about that, this oscillation between the old and the new that's happening, these older energies. And when I say older, really what I'm trying to define are like kind of like groove paths that you're just used to going down mentally and emotionally. Like, yep, see, everyone's doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Like women are this, men are this, or teachers
Right.
are this, or whatever role, all of our roles. That's what's breaking apart.
Right. And so some of that, there's comfort in those grooves, right? There's comfort there because we know our psyche knows what that looks like. Even we talk about in the beginning, like the relationship, but it's like you're so used to, let's say, not having your needs met and like getting your needs met. There's work involved there, right? You're having to trudge new paths, right? You're going to have to communicate. You might actually have to do some nice confronting, right? But that's not easy. That's not easy for me. Maybe it's easy for you. I'm open to that. So with that old and new, it is kind of like allowing yourself to go back and forth as much as you need to. There is no judgment. I mean, they talk about this old and new earth. Really what they're saying is that the new earth is actually here. There's a reality, and it really is shifting our perspective to this new frequency. It's here. And what we're going to be doing for the next several decades is weaving and integrating into this new reality. That's what this is about. And so it means shifting the energies in our physical bodies, in our minds, and the way that we think. Because some of our thoughts are energy. We all know this, especially if you're in this room, right? Your thoughts are energy, and like heavier, like prejudice, racism, judgments, criticism, all those things actually have a very lower frequency than loving, compassionate thoughts. And in this new reality, it won't even allow for that. And so there's a lot of weaving, or we're reconciling with all of those shadow parts, essentially. The parts that have been hurt, the parts that are angry, that our needs haven't been met, in the war-like kind of reality, we all are carrying all of the things that have happened on Earth, all of us in our DNA, it's there. So we know what it's like to share your voice authentically, we know what it's like to be hung, or even to be a slave, or whatever. We carry those things. And so we're reconciling with, hey, we really want to be free, right? So now we're like, hey, but I have thoughts that are keeping my own self down. I'm still have a slave-like mentality, even in this day and age, right? So we're kind of weaving through some of those things. That's what that cave is. Kind of. There's light there. And in some ways, we don't talk enough about how you actually find light, and it really is in the dark. So, yeah, you're not. Okay, I'm going to keep going. You feeling it?
I do want to highlight, though, that one of the things that keeps coming through for us is, while those stories exist within us, and it was an honor to have had those experiences, and it's our opportunity now to say no to those stories, to those war-like, slavery-like, oppressive-like experiences. And that's the practice of choosing. Is if we're playing in there with the war-like, and it doesn't, you guys know me well enough to know you were going to validate that and love that. And I would say let go of it when you're ready.
And you
Go ahead.
you can't fake that. Unfortunately, I have tried. I have tried. Like, no, man, I'm good. I'm totally good. I'm not oppressive.
Well, and we're seeing that a lot. Obedience is not enlightenment. Obedience will not find our way. And we're like, oh, I need to practice. I need to just stay here. I'm just like, right. This was part of our struggle with like, I'm just going to be happy all the time. I'm like, what? Like, what? Right. And what does that say to the parts of me that aren't happy all the time? That I don't matter, that I'm unworthy. And my anger and my shame or my guilt are just as worthy as all my other happy parts, right? That's why we talk about it so much. I just want to highlight that.
Yeah, I mean, and truly, this new earth. I mean, I'm partly just bringing this back around. Is the practice of that to where it becomes such a habit of really appreciating when the darkness does arise, because it is a part of us. It is a part of us, and it's not about obliterating it or hurting it. We talk about this a lot. We've talked about it before. It is about love is inclusive. Love is not conditional. Love means I'm going to love myself when I'm no longer angry. And then I'm going to be worthy of whatever story you're telling. It's really, and it's, I get it. It goes against my thinking. It does. And I've had to work really hard because this brain is so strong. It's like, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't even, like, I don't know, right? So, because it's outside of this. It's outside of this. So really practicing this feeling of love. I mean, that's, I feel like another piece of this painting is how often, because even though there is darkness, because there's so much light on the planet, we can see the darkness, right? And we're feeling it, whatever. We need a break, right? We do need a break sometimes. And are you taking the time to feel that love that's around us too? And I feel like that's a choice. That's a choosing in any moment. It's like the light and the love is there too. And it's practicing, and it's uncomfortable, but it's practicing even in that moment of discomfort of saying, hey, I love you. I'm here for you. But there's also love here too. And if you can't find it, it's about, you got to search for it. You got to, I don't know. What do you think? How do you practice that? How do you pull that out of your heart?
I feel that the heart space is the key that we don't talk enough about because I feel that we don't understand it as much as we could. And for me, it's about slowing down. It's in that stillness of noticing, right? And I feel like maybe you should share that story of like exploring that stillness, that because you brought it up earlier. I think maybe it was yesterday, I don't remember, but talking about for many of us, when we have unresolved parts within us, meaning that they don't feel safe or don't feel healed or haven't been heard or seen, then when we go into the stillness, it's like, and you're like, get me out. At least, that's definitely how I felt for sure. And so if you can cultivate and practice going into that stillness and be like, okay, whoa, what's happening? I haven't seen you. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've had to apologize to myself for not being aware that I was in pain. But I treat myself as if I would want to be treated from everybody else, right? I talk a lot about that. What are my nuances, the parts, right? So finding the light, finding the love, it's a choice. And the more that you practice it, the more that you choose it, the easier it will be to find. And there is a habit component to this so when that's where like obedience is an enlightenment, which I say that a lot. And yet the habit forming, like we do have to show up for that because we get addicted to being a victim. Victimization is incredibly addictive. There's a problem. Something's to blame. Anytime we're blaming, anytime we're judging, anytime we're criticizing or comparing, we are in the victimization paradigm. Just feel that. And it's our own cage. We're trapped now. And we're cursing the cage. And your being, your higher self, and everything here to help you is saying, well, will you just get out of the cage? And you're like, what are you talking about? I can't get out of this cage. Right? We're saying, actually, yes, you can. So then is there any part of you that's being resistant? So Louise Hay will talk about this resistance to change, which does often come down to anger, resentment, or unworthiness, those two kind of opposing pillars. And that's where I feel like Wendy pulls this through so absolutely beautifully in this painting of the duality of the opposing perspective. I am completely worthy. I am unworthy. Everything we encounter is a part of ourselves. So if you are having the experience of anger coming at you, can you consider that this is your anger? What might you do? Because the more you can show up with that anger with peacefulness and honoring and say, wow, this is really important to you. You're really upset right now. This seems really important. I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to react. I'm not going to compete. The more you do this, the less you will experience anger coming at you because you've resolved it. You're in these balance.
It's just your shadow, right? It's your shadow work. This reality is constructed in a way where it's going to mirror everything that you need to look at to become whole. Because you already are whole, right? But to recognize your wholeness. So it gives you opportunities to do that. And so that's why being the present moment, even if you're freaking stuck in traffic, and I've been working through this traffic thing for a while.
Your whole life, since you were 16?
Hey man, I'm really just trying to master it, I'm really trying to understand what's going on. Why can't no one knows how to drive?
We do talk about this a lot.
But me, I am the supreme driver on the road. If you see my car, you'd be like, whoa, look the way she's driving. It's amazing. No, I don't think anything. Everyone in their car is thinking that though, right? I mean, that's what's so humorous about this whole entire thing. Everyone thinks they're the only driver, the good driver on the road. You gotta look out for everybody else. It's funny, man. It is funny. And I noticed though, and this is where I would encourage you to start figuring out this is my journey with the road, is when I get really upset, it's usually because I haven't been nurturing my own needs. So I'm stressed out and I keep pushing myself. I haven't been really taking the time to take care of myself in some way. Sometimes small, sometimes large. Depends on how much I'm cursing. It's true.
It's like a gauge.
Yeah. Wow. It's been at least 20 minutes. Just joking. I'm not that needy, maybe. So, yeah, but those are all opportunities because everything is mirroring, and you do get to a place as you start really focusing on your shadow parts where you can start recognizing that there are other perspectives. And I feel like that's, for me, because I'm more of a mental person, that's the key for me. It's like, wait, them driving 55 and a 70, look at how patient they are. Right? I'm working. I'm growing. But it's true. Like their love of self or others, or they're really concerned, so there's love there. There really is love there because they're being cautious, let's say. Or somebody's in a hurry and they're cutting you off. Wow, let me give them space because I know what it's like to be in a rush or late to work or who knows. But I can only get to that place, or you can't fake that place, until I start recognizing where my boundaries are crossed or where my own needs aren't being met, right? But that's coming back to that present moment. What's going on, Wendy? Why is that person's choice really upsetting you so much?
And I feel like that's like all of this. Like if we were to honor like our chakra system, like to me, I loved how you did this. And then like in here with the purple and the black, with the, no thing. Honoring, am I safe? Because I mean, like we do, right? So if we just utilize our being, 'cause that's what it's meant for, and honor, like am I free to be my authentic self with the yellow and the power chakra, like, right? Like all of that being in that, like, it really is like, these are your tools. And then like our little friends here really powerfully saying, and you're going to want to surrender and be able to see in the dark. You know what I mean? Like, here's these tools out here to help you.
Yeah. I feel like I like it.
But you didn't like it, which I think is so
No, I
interesting.
feel like that. I mean, even she didn't really like
I
it
know.
at first. When I first started this painting,
Oh no, dude, I saw it. I went, fuck.
ugh.
I went, I was like, this is our month. But I was like,
Yeah, and it really
and it's gorgeous. Like right now, it's like so beautiful.
it's transformed. But yeah, it's that's where everything is a mirror. Like for me, I had to go into spaces within me that I felt kind of gross about, that I hadn't really nurtured in a really long time. So because the paintings always make me go through some stuff, I'm like, all right, here we go. And for me, that's what it was. It was, going into my shadow, specifically in parts that were really needing love. Because essentially, the heart space is the key. And I know a lot of people talk about it, but it is essentially what I say. It's the only place within our being that actually has access to the quantum field. There's chambers and areas within our hearts that are very affected by frequencies that our brains have no concept of. And so in this way, it is a portal. I know I'm touching it in between the boots. I just spilled it. Sorry. I have no filter sometimes. It's going on live. Yeah, I'm just really loving my art. But what was I saying? No, it really is. It does help you get to those higher realms. It does. And in some ways, all of these things that we're talking about is where we're at now from a human perspective, and how we have to slowly integrate these light frequencies. And it is because it's like we can talk all day about, oh yeah, angelic, whatever. But when you're in traffic or you're having to deal with difficult relationships, like what does that really mean? And that's where all the things that you stand for really come into play. And so it's simple. It's not always easy, right? Making sure your root chakra, all your needs are met, right? All your needs are met. That's complex. Are you sleeping? Are you eating? Are you aware of what your body needs to eat? Are you exercising, right? Are you following your own rhythm? Right? And you keep going up. I mean, and so you're mastering the self, right? And you get better at it every day. You do. You figure out more little pieces as you go. Because in some ways, because the new earth is here, our experience of it is almost like an elongated moment, right? So in some ways, really is, yeah, you get that. It's just really elongated moment, similar to like an electromagnetic wave from the sun, right? We see it, it's light, like a light is electromagnetic waves. It slows down so much to where we can actually see color, right? So essentially, that's what time is doing. It's just slowing it down because it is here. So, but the only way you can access, let's say, and kind of move out of the dimension of time, because our physical bodies are stuck here in this very slow experience of time, is by moving into the heart space. And then you can rise above time. And that's where you can actually begin to really manifest and jump tracks. For those of you that have been wanting to jump tracks, you know what that means? That's where you access that here. Because that's Brenda was bringing up the stillness piece, because it is in stillness. That's the only place to manifest. Stillness. Stillness is that no thing. And so typically as human beings, because of where we have been, we manifest based off of our subconscious, based off of these fear-based beliefs, because we haven't figured out how to transform those darker, denser energies into light. And it is by allowing for them and feeling them and loving them at the same time. I'm pointing at her because she's like a master at that.
Getting better every day. I'm not perfect.
So,
I want to say,
Yeah.
like, on this and in this, it's been so fascinating because we've been talking about it in our podcast. And every time we start to talk, there is this element of such joy and laughter.
Hmm.
And we just start goofing off and being really funny. And then I remember, and I don't even know who said it, so somebody should get credit out there in the guru world. They said that the fastest way to source, the fastest way to God is laughter. And it's like, and I'm telling you, the more that I just talk about this, I'm like, so in this way, it's this experience of just joy of like, yeah, can we just stop being so serious, right? And just like play around and have fun. And I can't help but do it in this energy as we open to it. And it's like, so in that way, it's like, thank goodness, right? I mean, like, what are we doing? Driving around in cars, worried about what other people are doing, right? I mean, we can really laugh at ourselves. Like, what are we doing? I mean, mine is like lines. Like, if you put me in Costco on a Saturday, I'm just like, I mean, no, I've literally sat in my car and like prayed. Like, okay, listen, I'm about to go in. I'm just going to thank you so much. Everyone's going to be so great. I mean, some days where I have to sit there and cry because I'm like, right? And nobody's going to like hit my cart again, and they're going to be mindful that I want to get to the cereal too, but but if we can laugh at that, if we can just play in that, like that is real. And what am I in a hurry for? I mean, like really, like what am I doing? Like, but so then when we speak of this, like I can't even worry about it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I probably don't care. Let's all go to Costco Saturday morning. Make sure it's like 10, 11, right when everybody gets there.
Go to BJ's. Way better.
Yeah.
really?
No lines.
No lines.
No lines. Not the
And
same
they
product.
and they like their job.
Right, but we see our point, right? Because we all go there and we can all laugh. Like this is the energy of this new frequency, and we're allowed to live here. It is for the sake of this really good conversation right now. It is a choice. It is noticing that if we're not playing around in it like this, then maybe you can consider saying no to it for now. And I'm not saying that there's not parts of you in there that you can show up for, but it's very different if we enter it from a place of joy and surrender and fun. Because there are other options that maybe we're being guided to go to a different store or whatever.
Online shopping.
Right.
No
Right.
lines.
Yes, I love online shopping. That's definitely a gift. Talk about our friends.
Yeah, let's talk about our friends. I did want to add one more thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
From a practical standpoint, partly because this is what I'm moving through, and so the best way that they teach me is because I'm always going to say what I need to say to help others, and so they like to help me as they're helping you. So this is for me, I guess, what they're about to say. I don't even know what they're about to say. It does take risk in some ways with this new energy. Like being playful and joyful is definitely the frequency that you want to do, like follow. In reality, they're saying she, but I am like, I have a hard time because my brain wants to go back in the old pathways and be like, but I have bills to pay. But I can't do that. And I'm partly just pointing that out because that's what it looks like. That's what this old and new, it's like, well, I really want to have fun and play, but we have to get serious. Right. And the part of me that loves to play and have fun, because that is easy for me to do. It is scary. It's scary for me. And I'm just sharing that with you because just to let go, it's letting go of maybe control techniques that I've been using my whole life to help me feel safe, right? It's belief systems that I can't be silly. I mean, that's not even being an adult, is it? That's what I say to myself. But that's it's true. Like I do have that belief system in me, but your belief systems might come out a little bit differently. But it's the frequency that's not the fun and the joyful. Those are just belief systems. And it's struggling, it's to survive. That part of you is wanting to live to a certain degree. And so you're having to nurture that part of you, be like, I know it's scary, but this is where we're going now. We're going to let go and we're just going to have faith and we're going to just trust and surrender. Let's just see what happens. That's exciting. That's exciting. Let's just kind of see what happens. It's like an adventure. So I like try to talk myself into it, right? Because that other part's scared and I've had to sit with that part and let it cry, because it has experienced a lot of scary things, that part of me. So I'm partly just showing you what that is. But if you can surrender, and this is what they're telling me, if you can surrender into that joy and really trust in the moment, it actually is the fastest way to where you want to go. Meaning the abundance, the relationship, whatever. Letting go and jumping into that is hard. It's hard for me. So, I'm
saying the swan.
Yeah, the swan is. The swan is surrendering and having faith. Yeah. So I was talking about
I
our
know
little
you
friends.
You did bring in our little friend. So on the earth, right, is all of the gifts, the wisdoms, and the mastery that exist within us. And so that's where I feel like Wendy is always very logical and concrete about that message, of bringing the energies of that in.
Yeah. I don't really know that till after I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. They're saying something about
Surrendering.
no, they're saying something about what you do with your heart. I know I brought this up earlier.
And with the surrendering.
I don't know. They're showing me something like something that you do with your heart is important because it's different.
What I do with my heart specifically. I mean, what I'm getting right now is one of the things that I would love to impart on everyone is the knowing, the understanding of truly no judgment. That to open the portal of the heart, to allow yourself to be fully present. There's no judgment. And that's a word that covers a lot of ground, a lot of frequency. There is no criticism. It is authentically, I am perfect just the way I am. And it's knowing that. And it's sitting in that, healing that, in however long it takes. It's like imagining that any form of judgment or criticism or competition or bias or prejudice, it closes the door to our heart instantly. It doesn't. It won't even open. And I get emotional talking about this because not only are we hurting each other, because we're hurting ourselves. We're literally ripping ourselves apart from ourselves. So to be a no thing is, I mean, like those words suck, guys. Like, I don't know how to explain it because I can see the light of it. It doesn't, it's not darkness. Like, I can't even say it's darkness because darkness to me is such beauty. Like, this to me is beautiful. That's not darkness. That's abuse. It's harm. It's making a choice to hurt something, ourselves usually. So there's more I can feel, but that, all right, you got it.
Well, I was going to add, I feel like for some that have very open hearts, you can, that resonates what Brenda's saying, right? Resonates very profoundly probably with you because you can feel what she's saying. For the other ones that might be more critical, right? I'm coming from the other side of that, and might not be as aware of even that heart space, right? Because we all have been holding both sides to this story, whether it's really too open or too closed, right? And so we're trying to create balance and harmony in the space. And for me, what I'm trying to say is, in a long way, is you have to practice going there. You have to practice feeling. You have to reconcile with it, because the only way to hurt is if you shut down what it does. If you shut down the feeling that's associated with it. So,
And that's why when your pain is leading, your pain is driving your car. People in pain create pain everywhere they go. And that's, we really are. We're disconnecting from our being.
so to repair that, it's like neural pathways from the brain, right? You have to start going there, right? Like they say you start drawing with your other hand, right? So you can start activating other things. You know, for a long time, it's like, how do I feel? I don't know. I don't feel anything. How do I feel? I don't know. Right? I mean, so, but eventually, as you sit in that no thing, it'll start popping up, because it's basically that part of you needing to feel safe enough to feel. So you just sit and you wait, just like you would a child. Well, eventually I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you whenever you're ready. I'm here for you whenever you're ready. I'm here for you. And then over time, that part will show up. But you have to consistently show up to their baseball game or show up to wherever they're at. You get what I'm saying, metaphorically? Okay. Good.
Mm-hmm.
The owl.
Mm-hmm.
The owl with the yellow eyes. It's a snowy owl. It's a winter owl. Snow owl. I forget the official name. It's white. It's a white owl.
It's a scientific term.
Yeah. Whiticus owlus. I don't know. That was like a Roman name or something. I don't know. You know, it does have yellow eyes. So you're the main character in your story. It's associated with your power chakra. I mean, to start getting back on track, hunting for the, finding light in the dark, you got to put yourself center story. So if you're always saying, well, they're so hurt. Well, they are really squeaky wheel. You know what I'm talking about? Like, well, they have it so much worse than me. Right? How do you feel? You're the main character of your story. What's going on with your story? Are you always going to be a second character? Are you going to be, always submissive to everybody else? Right? It's about you being the main character of your story. And once you actually recognize that you are the main character of your story, you're writing the story. So what do you want to say? We're kind of coming back to the, what are you choosing?
And I would argue, keep the compassion for the other person. Keep that in your heart. And just bring that compassion to yourself first. Right?
Bring it back to balance.
Yes.
And the thing is, for somebody, this is where it gets tricky, and this is where, we all kind of need help and support. It's like, for somebody that's so used to overgiving, let's say overgiving. Let's say you go 80% of the way, they go 20.
People pleasing.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
You shifting that just 70-30, that's going to feel like a crap ton of receiving, and it's going to be uncomfortable. You get what I'm saying? So just 30, somebody's giving 30% and you're giving now 70, is going to feel like, whoa, why are you coming at me like that? You get what I mean? Because of the distortion in what's normal for us. Right? So that's where we have to kind of combine all of our faculties. Like, what does an ideal relationship look like? Was it give and take? And then they're aware of me or whatever, right? You're aware of that. And then you can kind of gauge it and be like, oh yeah, well, I'm still doing 70-30, right? So I don't know, somebody can hear that. What we're talking about, the owl?
Yeah. And so authentically experiencing your world through your own lens, right? That's another way of saying it.
Oh yeah, good one.
How do you feel? What do you think? Not to take away from the messiness of it, because I kind of like to say in my works, because I love doing this work and showing up in this space, if you're doing it right, it's going to get messy. If you're doing it right, it's going to get uncomfortable. And I get excited. I mean, those of you that have worked with me know that. I genuinely I'm like, oh my God, yeah. And not that I want you to be in pain. I just am so excited because we're here. And this is where magic happens. It's exciting. And I mean, as somebody who is getting better every day, I remember the first time I said no to a friend.
Was it me?
No, it was probably okay to say no to you. But the first time, and I really am so not even joking. I was, I'm so sorry. Like, it just doesn't work for me. I'm just like really burned out. And my friend's like, Brenda, what? I'm like, what? This is how it is. This is how I'm showing up for it. This is how much I didn't even know. I didn't even think I was allowed to say no. Imagine unraveling all that. This is me. I'm like, all right. I'm like, and thank goodness I chose someone very safe and very loving who could hold space with me and say like, okay, whoa, like you're allowed. And like, yeah, okay, you take care of you. And of course she was checking on me like, are you okay now? And I'm like, yeah. Because then of course, once I did that, I was like, oh my God, I feel so much better. Right. But that's how messy it was. The first time, I mean, even with you, the first time, like telling Wendy how I really felt. And I was going to go against what we agreed on. I'm like, well, and she's like, what? Why are you being so weird? I'm like, I'm not exaggerating. I mean, I really am not exaggerating. Like, this is like, it's uncomfortable. And again, so this is me, I'm doing it right. That's like the owl. Like, look inside, look around. What do you want? What do you need? And those words suck. They do. It's just doing this, like diving in deep. What's going on in here? Like, this is you. This is the perfect wholeness of you. This is always happening. And if anything is out of balance, you're just then looking at the very thing that you need to bring yourself back to balance. This is a magical world that we live in, and only good is happening. Can you consider that? Because if you can, then we're going to make some magic together.
And it is in that dark space, in that no thing, in the present moment, in that stillness. That's where we rewrite ourselves. That's where we're rewriting our history. That's where we're healing. That's where we're manifesting, right? We said that that's the only place that you're actually manifesting is in that stillness. I mean, we can talk all day, but if we're really not connected to our center, I'm talking about an experience. Like you're connected, you're present, right? And I'm saying that partly because you can see the owl here, she or he, doesn't matter, it's gender neutral, whatever. It's a non-binary. Attached to the DNA strands here. These are like DNA strands.
Oh, got it.
Ish. So in that way, it's showing you how to do it. Because it's in that no thing, you're aware of yourself and you're aware of these parts that, needed to create a boundary. And then so she's grieving, she's, forgiving, she's doing all these things in a moment, right? It's like the whole universe is on the tip of a pencil, right? All of these things happening at once. And she says, I'm going to let this go. I don't want this story anymore. And it's right then her whole story changes. If you have unreconciled parts, you might still have to repair that and weave that a little bit more. You get what I'm saying? But
I had to say no a lot, actually. It took me some moments to practice that because it enmeshed in my story of like, I wasn't allowed, I wasn't safe enough. And that's okay. And again, this is where I talk about, let's show up. We're curious. It's fascinating. It got easier every time. I got better every day.
because there are moments where you won't even remember that you even had that issue, right? Where it becomes such an integral part of your being where you flawlessly now create boundaries that are right for you, that are aligned with you. And it's not even an issue. Just like, oh yeah, I think back in 2012, I had an issue with. But that's how much you can change. And partly they're saying that's the energy frequency right now. So that's February. Like it can be a doozy depending on what's in there, right? This is your heart, like depending on what's in there. But it's not a doozy. It's almost like the opportunities for you to finally let things go. You got to feel them. And if you're feeling them, That means it's like that's what you're meant to do. You're meant to experience because that's how much you matter. So it's like, and that's how fast you can move through these. Like I said, catalysts and kind of jumping tracks. You can choose to do that. You know, yeah.
And we haven't talked about this yet. I think we're going to talk about it next week because we talk about this in our podcast for the month. That being said, this to me, like everything we've been talking about, that's your ticket to your life purpose.
Like your golden ticket. Oh,
Your
the
golden-
ticket from like Pandora Express. No, Pandora. No, Panda Express. No, wait.
No,
Polar.
that's polar. That's polar.
I almost thought of that.
I knew it was.
Yeah, I was just kind of, and I'm hungry. I'm just kind of merging it all together. I want me some Panda Express. I love Polar Express, and I love Willy Wonka.
Some chocolate.
Anyway, sorry.
And that's the like sexy stuff. Like everybody wants to like start
Their
with the
life
life
purpose.
purpose. They're like, yeah, what are my gifts? What are my talents? And it's like, yes, I'm going to say yes to all of that and show up here and show up here and show up here. And let's start talking. Right? Because what's in here? Who are you?
And that's where we actually started this month. We talked about will you allow yourself to choose? Because you know what you want. You know what you want to do, man. You know what you want to, you know, whether it's a singer or a writer or whatever. You know what you want. You don't even have to tell me. Can you allow yourself to be it or have it? And that's a very vulnerable thing. And they're saying whatever it is that you want, you can actually have.
And then some. And then more. And more. And more. So to this and more.
Cool.
It was a doozy. I mean, I do have to say, like, I was really surprised. I really did. I thought, oh, it's going to be like smooth sailing. Like, yay, sunny skies. Yeah, I know, right? I was like, oh, this is happening. Yeah.
It's happening.
But none of this looks uncomfortable, right? It just tells you what's inside of me.
Yeah. Cool. All right, we're going to take a break.
Yep, break time.
And then we're going to come back and read for random individuals. Sound good?
So 10 minutes. So let's come back about 7:45.
Yeah, 7:45. Perfect.
I just wanted to say, it goes without being said, just always, we are limited by our filter. Just try on what we say, feel into it. If it doesn't align with you, throw it out. You are the only experts of you. And what we say or what we pull through could have many different meanings. And both meanings can be true, even if they're opposite. You okay?
I was just connecting.
Oh, okay. Oh, did you already pull the name?
What?
You already pulled the name?
No, I didn't pull it.
Oh, okay.
And then the messages are going to be from multiple people.
Oh, thank
right?
you. Yes.
So if I'm saying something but it's resonating with you, you're getting chills, that's going to be for you because there's so much more going on. You guys already know that. You can feel that. So, I mean, some people just like to come to these and just connect because they can like really hear their guides. So they're like in the space it's undoubtedly there, right? So, yeah, it's cool, right? All right, we're going.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to do our little spiel like usual. Really?
Yeah, go on.
I feel like I'm not
cares?
supposed to. I don't know. Like, I don't.
We're throwing the rules out tonight.
Caitlin Waters.
Dun, dun, dun.
You had the door closed for this.
Well, partly I'm like really, I start feeling that other stuff.
Oh, from downstairs.
Yeah, just memory, energy and stuff. All right. Weird. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, it definitely is not me. We can, yeah, you haven't been to any of these, but yeah, we can feel it instantly.
Did you want to record? No. Okay. Very good. You guys can record them. Did you say that?
No, I didn't.
You can record. I
Have
mean,
I
this
ever?
is recording.
We think.
I think so. I'll say
Are
that.
they still in?
I know. Hopefully.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
In some ways, you're totally ready. In some ways, there's nothing that can prepare you. That's what the words that I'm getting. And I mean that not in a fear-based way, right? So be careful of how that's interacting with your, being, but it's really going to trust. There's a lot of change this year for you, tremendous amount. You already know this, so just kind of validation because you're like, yeah, okay. I'm like, yeah, okay. You see all of it. Yes, relationship. Yes, it could even that feels like it could ultimately shift your path tremendously, right? Well, you already know that too, partly. And that's all very exciting stuff. It's what you've been wanting and all this stuff. What I would say to you, or what I would, when I say I, it's them, what they would say to you would be really kind of make roots and kind of be very aware of what it is that you want outside of like a relationship or what you really want with work. Like you're here today and you're starting the circle in some ways because you are kind of meant to kind of be a little bit more different than you already are in what you do, like for your work. And so in that way, I'm just partly gently because it has to be gentle for you in this way because this is where you're more vulnerable. And I can see a tendency if a relationship came along, you just start kind of focusing on that. And this is so important and you need to know this so you can actually have that. Does that make sense? Because in some ways it feels like they blocked that, or your higher self has blocked that from coming because of those relationship tendencies. So you can know who you are and why you're here. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So know that. Do all of the things that we're talking about. They really want you to get comfortable with being different. In some ways, even your other life choices just kind of help prepare you for that. But, right? Different in a way that's vulnerable to you. So it's like being kind of doing this stuff, right? Being really more out there, right? And so dealing with some belief systems that surrounding that and keep following your heart because there's so much joy in that space for you. It really is it's like home, but here. In some ways, you've been always holding energies and frequencies from this other reality. And partly that's why you've always felt so outside of that, because it's home's here now, right? So you get what I'm saying, right? Yeah. And lastly, they really want you to cultivate that communication stronger. So I don't know if you've done that yet, where either you're channeling verbally or if you're writing and channeling, or if you're just
hearing or feeling.
Because I know it's yeah. I feel sound strongly with you. So in some ways, this is where your brain's kind of getting involved, but they're wanting to come through in a more physical way with you, your guides. And it's linked with your purpose. But just stay with that feeling space and you'll be all right. Like you'll figure it out. Like your brain starts to get in the way and it starts. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think so. Sound physically.
Yeah, it's almost like because sound is, along with the heart, sound and water is one of the only thing that connects with the quantum realm. And so in some ways, the higher frequency stuff can come through with sound. So like music or sound healing and things like that. It's like higher vibrational things, words and speaking like this. It's really slowing down that energy. right? So I'm saying trust how it comes in for you and learn kind of how to translate that. And here's the funny thing, and this is where any way that you figure out how to translate that will be right. Like I created my own system here. It wasn't that there's a system that I'm following. I created the system, and everyone's being invited to create their own system. It's just your way of interpreting reality. And in some ways, as you're interpreting reality, you're actually creating and manifesting it instantly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you are meant to do something. You're leading the circle, which is always means it's like an act of power. You're meant to kind of step out into the world, like meant to be seen more. This is like taking your clothes off, I guess. Like Superman. Cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
I want to honor you because you're actually connecting with, I can feel it, a potential 1 or 2 people who will actually watch this in video form later, which is really neat. And that's part of your mastery, is that you actually have an awareness of a greater field than you kind of own yet. And that's part of this too. I know that sounds really weird. And I invite you to feel into that and try that on. I really like what Wendy said as far as like owning being different. I feel strongly that it's time for you to let go of some of these stories and patterns. You really have played around with them really well. You kick some ass and you're done with them. So you kind of got to get out of the playground now with some of those concepts. And I don't know why I'm being guided to use it in that way, because usually the playground would be fun, but it may be in that way. It's like they're outdated. You're done. Like it's time to move out of this particular playground and move into a different one. Because those are habits. And part of it does feel like the people pleasing of those around you. You love your family, you love your people, and it's just time to shift and move. And I feel like you're in a place where that feels a lot more comfortable than it ever has. And it's sort of really jumping off that cliff. And again, who's ever listening later is like, it's so interesting. I don't know if like your family with them, but they need to hear this later. But I can't even see that you guys even like connect. It's so flipping cool. I definitely feel something much more creative than I've ever felt when holding this space with you, which is really, 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 really cool. And it feels like something really different. Like you don't have it yet. Like it has little tendrils into something, whether it's writing or feeling or I don't know, or sound. Like I can't tell, but it begins to grow because you're willing to take this leap of faith. But it is this courage, this risk. It's time to take these risks. And like I said, you're ready. But be messy, be vulnerable, bawl your eyes out when you say no. Like it's really fun. It's not. It was fine, but you're ready. Okay.
And you just choose it. What it looked like for me when I first, was like 19 saying, I want to bring in new information. I want to bring in new information. Me, please. Can I bring in new information? I just kept saying that to myself over and over, like to my guides. I didn't know what that looked like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've been saying that like my whole life.
Yeah. Good. So you are. That's what this is choosing. You choose it. Will you allow yourself to do it now?
And that's the thing for everyone. I mean, thank you, because that's the message for everyone. Whatever you wish, it's yours. There's no, well, maybe if I earn it or I work hard no, choose it. Do you have to put effort in? Yes, you definitely do. And I love working hard at what you love. So yes, do that. It's just, it's yours because you said so, because you're the only creator. So yes, 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 for everyone listening, sitting in this room. Yes, yes, yes. It's that simple and not easy, because now you're going to meet up with all those things that, again, you've been moving through all this time. Your time is now. I want to haunt the shit out of you. And who's ever
Not
listening
literally.
later. Not literally. Maybe. It's now. It's now. Stop any story, any dialogue, any words that say, oh, what if it's like the past? No. We're done. You can feel, and I know you can feel that I see you. You're like, yeah, that really rings true for me. Right? So that means now get the brain, the programming of that on board with all of this. This was exciting, just like you knowing that you were going to be called first. Right? You did. Perfect. I love it. You're welcome. No, you picked now.
Oh,
Take turn.
I'm gonna pick with my left hand.
Picked with my right. I
Did
should
you?
pick a non-dominant hand. Yeah.
I don't know. Just trying to change it up. This one.
Create those new neural pathways.
I can't read my own handwriting.
Oh, man.
Tammy Schwenden.
Tanya?
Tanya?
Did you put me under your last name?
Huh?
I don't know.
It's Tanya and Tammy. No, I put your name.
Oh, here's a All right, hold on.
I bought-
Tamara Dostine.
Oh, that's Tamara. I'm Tanya.
Tanya. Okay, I
Should I
can't read
read
it. All right.
Because of how that just unraveled, I would invite both of you to try on what we're about to say. Because that you two were both pulled in.
It's my sister.
Well, and this
That's
Tammy
already
too
next.
was pulled in. Tammy's our good friend right here.
Oh,
Everyone's
me?
saying, yeah.
Oh,
Yes, because you were kind of
All the T's, I guess. Come on.
Okay, yeah. Because how it unraveled, it was like all of you guys. It was interesting. So I do. And that feels true when I speak it. I can feel it, whether or not it aligns with me. I'm like, yes, that aligns. Yeah. Okay. I do. I feel like I gotta like move out of the way. I'm like, okay.
My head's not that big.
I do this.
Yes, you do.
Have we done this for you yet?
No. Yeah, where's the Kleenex box? Bring it up.
Throw it on up.
Oh, that brings me so much joy. Yay.
Thanks. I don't know why I knew that it was gonna get cold today, but I did.
It's time. Yeah. It's time for you to be seen, to be heard, and to be validated. In some ways, I feel like they came up or other people came up because it's hard for, even though you are very outgoing and stuff like that, but to make it about you.
I
It's
always
hard.
think that other people
Yeah.
should go.
So do these two other people. I mean, I do want to name that too. So that's where. Yep.
I want to be really gentle with you in some ways because it is time for you to come out. I know it's like time for you to come out of the closet. And I don't mean that in a sexuality way. I mean that in a metaphoric way of come out, be seen. And I feel like partly you're being called into it because there's some family dynamics that have to shift. It's almost like you don't know what you don't know, right? And some things, some of those things that are coming up to the surface, that's what it feels like. There's things that are coming to the surface within those family dynamics. And it could just be showing up for you, but it's within, it's embedded in the system. It's like ancestral thing that's kind of been, you know, passed on from generation to generation. Partly I'm trying to unweave some of these things. And when I mean unweave, it's there's a lot of belief systems around you not being free. Does that make sense? And that's okay, and because everything's repairable. Partly I'm just naming it because it's like we want, you know, you want to be free. Like, man, I want to be free. I want to get rid of all these, like, with these chains and these weights. And then some of this is about you keep going into this emotional space and unraveling it. I mean, that's really the only way to unravel it. When I connect with you, I'll share this. When I connect with you, I hear a lot of everybody else's voices. I your mother, a grandmother. I hear all these voices that in some ways I'm like, where are you? Because you're just like, it's like, will you love me now? If I do this, will you love me now? Will you love me now? And it is so great because you are finally showing up for these pieces. And in that way, you're loving yourself. But that wasn't okay. Those things did happen and they actually continue to happen. And that's partly what I'm saying. It's like they're, in some ways, it's almost like I don't know if they ever gonna be able to see that, or does that make sense? Because of their own wounding.
I've come to terms with it, though. And I think that's why I've been able to like really show up for myself, because I finally realized like it doesn't really matter what I do, but she's not gonna accept me and see me because she is so fucked up herself.
Let it out. Really, I'll cry with you. Let it out.
I have forgiven my mother. I've forgiven her. I've forgiven her. I feel I've forgiven her, and I can love her through all of it.
In some ways, I don't even want you to. Not yet.
Or I'm going to say this another way. It's partly about
It's like good cat, bad cat.
Honestly, though, it makes sense by you saying that.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah.
I'm going to invite you to forgive her. I know you see her. The pain, my friend, is you because you believed her. There's this voice inside of you that's yours now. It's way too hard on yourself. And you're letting others treat you in disrespectful ways because of it. See you. And this is why you allowed yourself to be dragged here by these loving people in your world. And it's going to be easier than you think. Nice job. Literally, nice job. Okay. You're going to leave here differently than you came, more than any other time when you've come to these events. I'm a healer. I put out a lot of intention. Anyone that wishes to heal when they come here, they will. You know this. You deserve this. You're ready. Okay? You are not allowed to abuse yourself. And this is for everybody. You are not allowed to be judgmental or critical or compare yourself to anyone. And with so much love, you're going to demand that love, support, peace are the only things allowed in your world. If you can choose that, those other things will unravel in not uncomfortable ways. And I can feel this fear of kind of what I was talking about, saying no, right? Just, yeah, we need you. And you need you. You miss you.
I do. I do.
Because behind this, I feel like it's like this creativity, this spontaneity, this joy that you've been missing or lacking. It's here and it's in this space. So it's almost like you have to go, you're doing it, man. You're going there. And then that's the light. The light is this little girl that's going to have, she's the key to all of it. This little girl within you, You have a lot of gifts. You're talented. But not as in a performing monkey kind of way.
It's accounting.
It's accounting.
That's her gift.
I can count beans.
Or let's hope it's her gift. I'm quitting my job and going to work with John. And I later, this is a hard decision for me because I'm OCD and scared to change and all this stuff, right? And something happened. I just was like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. I don't want to be in a space where I am not given the same respect that I give. And I don't choose myself. I don't. I don't choose myself.
You choosing yourself now, right?
Yeah.
Changing that
I've
story.
never felt like my whole body's singing, just knowing that I get to say, no, I'm good. I want to go work with women that empower women,
That's cool.
you know?
We all choose that, right? We say yes and more to that.
That's going to be a little bit different than you think. And I'm not saying that in a way to scare you. I'm just saying it's almost like life is a creative entity. It's an organic thing. So as soon as you make this choice, everything else is going to shift and kind of shift with it. So I'm just saying, don't be surprised. Like you're on an adventure,
Yeah.
right? But now you're playing a completely different game. I think that's what she meant by playground, where you're like, now you're on this adventure. No matter where it takes you, you know it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where they really want you to know it is going to be good. Because this is about your journey back to yourself, to allowing yourself to be free and to have this beautiful expression. Because in some ways, you haven't figured that out yet. Like what really brings you joy? You're unraveling some of these prison bars or whatever. And as soon as you continue down, I'm looking out like a year from now or, right? Yeah. It's kind of like you won't really know that yet. But what I'm trying to say is just having a different shift in your relationship with life, being really just trusting because it is the right decision. It is. You can feel that. And I'm validating that. It is going to be a little bit different than you think, though, partly. I don't know why I'm telling you that, but.
Because it feels like because you really do struggle with change. And I want to say everything's going to be more different than you can even fathom. Like being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. No, I know that.
Because it's like you'll find your voice. It feels like you're going to go there and you're going to find your voice. You're going to express, like you're going to come out of the closet, right? It's going to be a safe space for you to come out of the closet. When you're out of the closet, you're going to be like, hey, I really like this though. And then you're going to veer. It looks like you're going to go there. It's a safe space. It's a perfect opportunity. Everything's fine for you. And then it's going to be like, "Burr," and then you're going to go somewhere else. That's all I'm trying to say.
The thing is that that's what it's crazy.
So,
She
good
wants
job.
me. She wants me there, right? Not just to help her, right? She wants me there because she wants me to help me. She
Yes.
wants me to find me, and I do nails, and she wants me to really get into like more clients and doing this instead of me, working 12 hours and coming home and doing nails for 4 hours and then depleting myself to the point. So that's exactly it. Like I know that no matter where this path takes me, it takes me back to me.
Yeah, I honestly see all three of you guys actually creating something outside of this. Like similar, it's like spiritual or something.
And I actually saw this like a year and a half ago. It's just taking this long for this bitch to realize.
And that's why too we're planning the trip to go to Arizona,
Oh, that's cool.
us three, because we want more.
Oh, you have no idea.
So excited. No, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you.
I just, thank you because like I know that like I know it took up time and I needed that so bad.
You deserve it.
Yes. You need to take up space, take up time, you matter. We need you. Yes.
So, like every hair on my body.
Didn't you get 16 hours of freedom of not being in traffic?
Hey!
I'm in a car for 80 minutes a day. 80 minutes a day.
Yeah, this has been kind of a long time coming, but know that timing is always perfect. So in that way, not even judging that, like timing is always perfect.
You can't be ready for it.
That's what I said.
And she's kind of bougie, so we had to fix things a little bit. We had to clean things.
Hey,
She's
Jill
my
likes
kind of
what she
girl.
likes.
Right? Yeah, totally. I like it.
Just incredible. And I literally just asked, I asked the universe, just let them validate. That's what I needed. I just needed a validation because I'm so terrified of the different, like something we do.
Yeah.
So
Hey, that
I
was the
cry all
best.
the time.
You're definitely the crier of the family.
You've joined, girl. You've joined me. Okay. But yeah, thank you. I needed that. I
It
felt
is.
you. You both were looking in my soul. That's
That's how we do it. Yeah, for sure. And feel the room. Feel you
I feel that
being
love.
your authentic, real self. No, truly, you've moved every single person in this room. We love this. We all love each other. That's who we really are.
I love that because when I'm sitting here and other people are going, like, I'm so connected to them and like knowing how much they needed that. So it feels good.
It does.
You know, I'm telling you, I should hate all the hair in my arm. But like I think that's what I miss about coming around the outside is because you can really see you can see people's faces and what they need and like I can feel all of that from you guys.
That was the difference between this and the previous one. I prefer circle.
Do you? All right.
I was thinking, yeah, like you get sat on that long.
You can't read them.
Right.
Yeah.
We hear you. All
So,
right.
well, no, I mean, let us share with you, right? So we want to get more people here because we love being with you and we want more, truly. We want this and more. And so we didn't know what to do with the seats and we were like, hey, let's try it like this. And it's this energy that I actually spoke of earlier today. And I said, you know, you can really never get it wrong. You don't have to worry. Just show up and see what happens, right? So, and I said to my sister, I said, well, let's just put it like this and we'll figure it out if it works or not. It's worth a try. We've never done it like this. Let's see. And everyone said, we don't like it. And that's not good or bad. It just is. We get to discern. We get to show up. If you're being authentic and real, you will discover as long as you're open. Again, I'm not going to judge myself and be like, oh, I put the seats in the wrong way this time. Nah. I love all of you. I'm sorry that you're sitting in rows. I can apologize for that. But again, I just tried something new, right? There's nothing wrong with that either. And next time we'll be in a circle. There we go.
And that could be said for anything, right? Like a bad
Yes.
choice of what you eat or relationship or
Right.
whatever, right? Figuring it out.
Exactly.
You
So
don't know
just
what
try.
doesn't work.
Ex-
until-
Exactly. And the gift of knowing what doesn't work, you know, we'll never do it again. I mean, isn't that a great gift? Of course it is.
Now we know.
Right.
Can you knock that wall out
I know, right?
Can you?
I don't know. I didn't even think to ask.
structurally? Maybe open it up.
Well-
There it is.
I don't like that.
Oh, I guess I should have. I don't even know which one it was now. This my brain was like, no, I have to pull it when I want. Yeah, see, I'm working on stuff too.
Okay.
Nice. I'll pick my right hand next time.
Ooh,
Ooh,
what do we
That
do?
will knock
What does
that
that
again.
mean?
Maybe that's the one.
Tammy Ivers.
Melissa Kent.
Crut.
Sorry.
Crut.
I can't read that.
I can't read my own writing. You know who you are.
Good thing you do.
How do you spell it? Well, your last name.
Well, it's only that way for 6 more days.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm not going to.
So we're not even getting knowledge here.
Just let it go.
Go with both.
Sure. Okay.
Since it flew out of the bowl. I mean, that seems
I think it
like-
fell on her shoe earlier too, just saying.
Okay.
Where we
That was
going?
my turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we going to Melissa first?
Yeah,
or
we're gonna
Tammy
go to Melissa
Okay.
first. Since that was the official poll.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
have
I don't-
still.
I
know,
don't
I'm
get to
working on
start today.
it. What?
I don't get to. It's not me. Again.
Huh. It's not me either. Ah.
Do you want to trade seats?
How's the comfort level?
Yeah, probably better.
Probably a lot better.
All right, so one, it's interesting that it's interesting to me that you're pulled partly because you're in a very exciting space and like they don't really want to move you out of that. right? You understand what I'm saying? Because you're about to get married in 6 days, guys, 6, right? So that, I mean, that's a kind of a tremendous, oh, here we go.
We're making our own.
All right. They're wanting to tell you that there's gonna be people there from the other side watching. So whoever you've been wanting to witness the wedding, they're gonna be there. Okay. All right. That came through first. And all right, do you have specific questions? Because how I use my magic. I haven't watched too many fantasy movies. I'm partly jumping over that time frame to read for you beyond that, unless you want me to read about something within
Well,
it.
I mean, I want to say right away, there's somebody that's transitioned and very much here feels like a friend. Have you had a friend who's transitioned?
I
Feels
hard to
male.
say. It's probably my late husband, so that's.
It
I
feels
was having a
male.
hard
Feels
time.
like
Yeah.
a really
Okay.
good friend, and
That's what it
he
is.
feels
That
very
makes sense,
very
yeah.
feminine, kind of like totally a dude, but a feminine guy. Is this real? Like he feels like very just boisterous and outgoing, like
Oh yeah, he's
not
very
like a
boisterous
stoic
and
guy,
outgoing.
you know. And he
No.
just feels very like,
He's entertaining.
oh my god, yeah, okay, thank you, yes. I'm like, no, he's like, oh my god, like he's so excited, and he's like, it's gonna be the best. He's like, we're gonna have dancing and we're gonna have this, and he's very big, and I'm like, okay. He is very, 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 very excited.
That's what.
Like seriously, like jumping up and down, so happy. So happy.
I was married to him for 30 years. He passed away from cancer 4.5 years ago. So
And-
this is getting married and changing my name, and I felt like known since I was 18. So this is really, I've really been struggling and really been figuring out ways that I'm mad at him or something. I'm like, you weren't
Good.
that great of a husband.
He's giving it right back to you. He's like, did you seriously think I was gonna have a problem? Like really? Like he's calling you right back out. Okay. He literally, like, he's so just, my heart is like open. It's my strongest tell. Like just so off your rocker, excited and happy. Okay. And he's like, you knew I would want you taken care of. Like, what are you talking about? And he goes, what are you worrying about? And you're worrying way too much. Like, will you just knock it? Like, he's. I'm like, yeah, he's like saying like you took care of everything, but he talked a lot. He goes, something like I'm funny or entertaining or I kept things going. Yeah, like something like that. Like, you know, I just would sit there and I would just talk with everybody, and she'd be going around working and getting things together, and I'm just sitting there. Yeah, he's like, yeah, because maybe I should have done something to help. And he's just like, nah. Hold on, He's like, okay, now that you know that I'm really here, that's why Tammy came out. Yeah. Anyway, so excited. Really let this go. That's why you were called, okay? Because like way too heavy in this way, like noticing that everything we talked about, you can feel into how some of the stories or the dialogue or with that was very dense and out of proportion. Okay, not out of proportion. That's the right word. It was distorted. I'm going to use that word.
Just
Distorted.
your expectations of yourself, you know, around that, a little unrealistic, right? It's like, yeah, like what are you supposed to do as a widower? Are you still honoring him? You know, all of those things. Those are real. You know, that's all real. So now that the door has been open. What?
Buckle up.
Dun dun dun. He is going to continue to help you. He's wanting you to take this to heart, where you know how you get, where you do tend to make it about everybody else. In this relationship, right? Make sure you're staying true to yourself, because on the other side he can see, and through him I can see more. You have a purpose. I mean, everyone here, right? You have a purpose you're meant to do, and you can get distracted, right? And I'm partly saying this because you won't get distracted. You're really kind of stubborn in this way too. But just being mindful, like he's not something to fix, right? Just allow. Just allow. And you stay focused like the owl on your own path. You being the main character, the main character.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but there's a pun on words with that. The main character, the mane, like a horse mane. Like there's like, I'm getting chills. It's like there's something with horses, and I know you like horses or whatever, but you have a purpose, and it might have something to do with horses. It's like you're the main character, and don't lose that focus. He's perfectly fine. Let him fumble his way through this. Let him find himself, and it's going to be messy. And that's okay. It is like you don't have control. And the more you try to get control, it's in some ways it's pushing the perfect buttons for you, because you can't have control and you want it. And so it's going to push you into that uncomfortable. Why do you have to have control, right? You're going to be pushed into your discomfort, right? Like you have to let go and surrender that place that's scary as hell. Stay focused on yourself. Stay focused on yourself. You find yourself even mentally going over there. Stay in your lane. He really wants this for you because you weren't able to do that with him. He was very loud. And then he had needs after that, right? After he was really loud and needy, and then he was really physically kind of more needy, right? So this is about you, and you promised yourself.
That was one of my fears of, it took a long time to
Recover
He
from
was
that.
kind of, not kind of, but he had narcissistic traits, and I didn't realize it when I was in it. I was out of it, and then I healed myself, not myself, but went through healing lately and done a lot of crazy stuff, going to do ayahuasca and stuff like that. And I see the relationship differently, and then I got my independence back, so I didn't know who I was. And then now, because I'm listening to my parents' narrative, his narrative of who I was, and now that I got myself back, that's one of the reasons I was afraid to get married, because I'm so desperate to hold on to myself now. And I'm afraid of losing myself in a relationship, because I do give myself to that relationship, because I gave everything to him. So I'm like,
Just create
I am very much, I'm very much like, I'm like, no, I'm going to do this, because there was never girls' trips, there was never going out with girls, there was never any of that. So now I'm like, no, I'm going out, and I've even went on trips. Well, I've been dating this guy, I'm like, no, I'm going with my friends and we're doing this. I don't ask, I just tell them. And I get comfortable with that. That's like that no thing is me like not asking permission to go do something I want to do.
Good.
Because I'm used to asking permission. So that is something, if that resonates, I'm a Chandler too, so that resonates for a lot of people in there. I just heard like, so asking permission.
And I'm hearing you won't lose yourself.
Yeah. So all of us women need to stop asking permission to do things, and we just
Stop
need
being
to
small.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love yourself the most.
Put yourself first. And that was my connection with you, and I get that because it was a connection with her, because I was where you were, and it's scary because it's really safe to be. You call it OCD, but it's your safe space. I know what to expect. I know what to do, and you're kind of it seems like I was afraid to find out who I was, because what if I didn't like her? Because I listen to other people. So what if I don't like me and I find me? But you know what? You're gonna like her, 'cause we're all cool. So we're really cool. So it'd be weird, because it feels weird to be weird. Like we get afraid of it. Like it's okay. Cause I was gonna tell Wendy too, when we did the drones, we had to go outside. Next time,
Oh.
put people outside if it's nice out,
Yeah.
because then we could be weird and we could be, everybody be driving by and we'd be doing the drums and we'd be with Pachamama and then everybody would be like, yeah, what, so what? Like,
We're gonna be naked down that street in no time. Come on.
you were taking your stuff. I wonder how your law enforcement said that was something that we were talking about. We don't really
Oh,
arrest people.
I talk about it almost every time. Like I wasn't joking.
really needs
I
to do
really
it
do
once.
talk about it. Anyway, yes.
Well, baby steps, let's just go outside. and eat the
Okay.
drone.
I'm game. I'm totally game. I'm there. I'm there. Let's do it.
That's fine. Thank you for that. I'm good. That was a surprise.
So much for you.
I was
Okay,
gonna say,
I need to
really
just
don't even need, you don't even
Okay,
need
good.
to say anything.
Good.
I've got it all.
good. That's but I know,
Holy shit.
and I can tell. Good, good. So, see, I'm good with that. I'm so glad that you got that.
Yeah, I got it.
You did. No, I can totally tell. And so, yeah, but all of, hold up. I want to validate and I want to kind of make this a moment for all of us because exactly, you got it yourself. And this is the thing. You need to be weird. You need to be you. You already know. You already have all the answers. I know you know that, but I got to validate. Got to validate all of us, okay? We got to run down the street naked. That's the takeaway.
You
When there's
want to
lots-
see this naked.
But we do because we don't care. I mean, just
Exactly. I have to be a folder.
That's right.
I mean,
That's
it's
right.
yeah, it came to me this week and it's here again. And see, now I know I needed to use it.
Yeah. And it's about the freedom to be our authentic selves because something about our naked bodies and then that belief system of what we put on that is the ultimate of like, can we please let that shit go? That's the dumbest shit I ever. Anytime we're belittling ourselves, being mean about our bodies are. Do you know what we get to do? We get to do such amazing things, right?
Like having
I'm
those
having a bad
No, seriously. Our
I'm
bodies
having a bad
amazing.
ugly month. It's February. No, I'm telling you. We talked about it in the hallway.
What?
All month.
What?
I've been looking at myself in the mirror and feeling ugly every time I look in the mirror. So I'm trying to do something else. I'm trying to look at something good. And I'm like, I know I'm not hideous, but like, what is that? What is that? It's
No, it's the heart space. I mean, that's why when I first started this painting, it was like, ew. It was like it felt ooey.
Yeah.
But that was those are the parts within me that I haven't loved yet, right? Those are my gross parts and my dirty parts and my.
I think I've always used humor. Like, you don't want to see this naked, right? You don't want to see this naked, right?
Yeah, we
You have
do.
people laugh,
I mean,
right?
you know.
But you know what I'm saying?
Definitely wants to see it. He loves it.
But that's what I'm saying is like, it goes back to like what I've always used that as a cover up. Always. So you're right.
Oh, yeah, no, it totally is. You know what? It totally is. I mean, as you age, I've gotten to the point now, I've gotten the postmenopausal a little bit around the month for me,
Yeah,
you know, and, you know, I'm thinking that same thoughts, you know, because, you know,
yeah.
I mean,
Right. Yeah.
you know, I mean, I literally had somebody say to me the other day, like, and it was a man, of course, but like, are you still sexy? Are you still hot? I said, for 59 years old, I'm looking good. You know, and I'm like, how dare you ask me that?
Get it.
You know what I'm saying? though? How dare you ask me that?
Yeah.
How dare you? Like,
Get
how
the
dare
sage
you?
out.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, like, how dare you ask me that? Like, I was so pissed. Like, how dare you? Like, oh, what do you look like? You know, like, how dare you say that to me? I mean, I was pissed. Like, the text messages will tell you. And I just say, you know, and then that's when it came to me when he was saying, like, beauty's in the
The standards of beauty we put on ourselves, we all do it.
Oh, it's horrible because I mean, I do it. I've done it. I've done it.
But we do it to ourselves. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because what Jen sees in me, I don't see in me. And when she says things, I'm like, what are you? Like, I feel like you took a pill in shallow hell and you're thinking on this earth I say that all the time to her.
Oh, that's funny.
She's like, "You're so gorgeous." I'm like, "What did you drink this morning?" But I see
And you may
them.
see that.
It's everybody.
like that.
She's
been pretty
since she came out of the
Always.
I
I
see
I
things
see
that she doesn't see, right? You know, and like to sense things and feel things. If you look like someone that dated my brother growing up, and I feel this that
She does.
actually
Oh.
I feel this nurturing like thing. It's weird. Okay, I know it sounds a little weird, but like I see these different things with people, you know, and it's, you know, I know nobody's looking at my stomach right now. That's my insecurity, right? Nobody's looking at my stomach. They're probably looking at my sweet loafers.
They are sweet. I didn't see.
But yeah, I mean, that's when I try to switch. I'm trying to switch my mindset.
And that's really what this is all about. That's exactly what we're talking about. And it is going to take effort. It is going to take practice. If it doesn't feel good, don't say it. Don't think it. I mean, truly, this is where you belong. This feels good, right? This is freedom for all of us. We get to be here together, authentic and messy and vulnerable and real. I think some of those
Safe.
words meant the same thing, but yes,
Weird.
safe. Okay. So, like I said, we're not going anywhere. Maybe we'll take down a wall. I so appreciate all of you being here and sharing in the energy of this. Like, really, we create this together. It's not any one person, it's all of us. So, thank you so much.
It's different every time.
Yeah.
It's so great.
And partly you're going to hear, even if we said the same thing every time, you're going to hear different things.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's like the magic of reality, right? I do want to leave, I want to say they want to say one last thing. It's about receiving. Will you allow yourself to receive the love that you are, that's around you every day? And that it takes vulnerability. It's like, and that's really what I wanted to, that's what they wanted to say. Will you allow yourself to receive like a lover? Like, will you let life love you like a lover? That intimate. That where they look in your eyes and they can see you. Can you allow for that? And you have to let go of control for that, right? And for some of us, that might be difficult, me included. Because that's the amount of receptivity that's keeps that flow of abundance going, right? You have to allow yourself to receive. So it's there. The love's there. Let yourself receive it. Go into that vulnerable space. That's where it's at. Cool. What time are we good? Oh yeah, we're overtime. All right.
I feel like I want this too. I want a class.
Thank you.
Bravo! Stupid rose. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Gotta get rid of the rose.
Thank you so much, honestly,
good.
for coming
It's
and
so
sharing. And well, you really couldn't do it without you. So,
Yes.
So grateful.
all right.